I remember on Fox News, this young woman has a health program on there. I can't remember what. Seems like it's around the 4 o'clock hour or so. And she had a medical doctor. It's one of the Fox News analysts. And then she brought a naturopath on. And the discussion was about vaccines. And that medical doctor chewed that poor naturopath up. That naturopath, no offense, but she wasn't very bright. You don't go in to a medical doctor and converse on vaccines unless you have all your facts in line, because they've been so brainwashed. They'll fight on what they think is an improvement of the condition of man because of vaccines. What they don't realize, a lot of medical doctors, is that they were lied to. And Dr. Tenpenny, I've talked about her before, came out with a, I guess it's a cassette. I don't know if it's a, I've been trying to get her DVD if she even has it. She actually went into CDC centers, visited them, and looked up their stats and stuff, and found that the CDC centers themselves had lied to medical doctors, had hidden facts. And I think it was Wallach or one of them with the emerging virus. The Emerging Virus is a good book. I think it's just another good book to show you the horrors of what man's doing. We live in such a horror place medically. When you stop and back up and take a look at what man has done to promote medical thinking and to promote some idiocy of that man's fighting some phantom diseases, we need to slaughter and maim and harm millions of animals to try to find some cure for something that doesn't even exist. And it's amazing. This mind is so conditioned at this level here, and it's just full of falsehoods and idiocies and things like this. It's amazing. I have worked on thousands of young children that had ADD or ADHD or seizures from vaccines. And I mean right after the vaccines, they go into these. And I've told you about this one sweet, sweet girl, she's 27 probably now, that had, 50 seizures a week or a month, grand mal included. It makes you sick, because the ignorance is so high and the arrogance is so high. You never put live pathogens, and I'm going to use the word pathogens, but I disagree with that terminology, of microbes, virals included, in vaccines. Because the problem always, mumps, measles, chicken, I don't care what it is, has always been the culturing medium. These conditions are all lymphatic conditions that are just natural processes. And a person does not die from any of these things. They develop a natural immunity toward these type of virals, these type of proteins. At the same time, it's in our face to clean our sewer systems, our immune systems up. It's in our face. It's not about building your immune cells. Most people have adequate immune cells. It's cleaning the highway. It's cleaning the system that's involved in cleaning the human body for you. That's what's trashed up. And it's trashed up from all the foods. Most of the foods man eats on this planet is lymphatically trashing people. It's just the body doesn't want it. So it's creating a lot of mucus buildup in people. A lot of inflammation in people, because most foods people eat are acid forming. So it's created a whole hell. All over nothing. This is just simple. You just eat your fruits, live your lives, and enjoy it. That's how all the other animals do. Primates have fun. They make love all the time. They play. They have fun. They eat what they're, and that's life. We're fighting, putting people in jail over health, and those are the people that are killing everybody, coming after the innocent people. It is so bad on this planet. It's been war between the natural health people and the medical community for years. Now they're moving in our field so heavily, I don't know where the war is anymore. If we're all wrong, then medical doctors don't come into our field if we're all wrong. But you guys are coming in our field faster than we can even think. These are some graphic images. So if you don't want to watch these, turn away. And I've got a bunch. You guys can see some of our tumors and stuff. But this is all from immunization. This is all from vaccines. Of course, this isn't the standard. But your child could end up as one of these. And I have plenty. I have a picture from the Tampa Tribune of a mother looking down at her little baby in a little stroller. And she has this painful look on her face, the mother. And it says, baby contracts polio from the vaccine. Right in the front page of the Tampa Tribune. What they don't understand is when, and I think it's the doctor that wrote Emerging Virus. I don't think it was Wallach. Anyway, had found that polio actually went up 685 or something like that % when they started inoculating for polio. These are horror pictures we want to show you. And when it comes to vaccines, and for a state like California, California's slipping into the negative side over and over. They make us label this, put on our labels that our herbs contain lead or something in there toxic, and they get toxic form and stuff. California is way out of balance. No offense to you Californians, but they're definitely a state out of balance. So now they passed a law to stop any, it is mandatory to get your children vaccinated. Well, it's the same, it's a takeoff on strapping a 17-year-old down, bruising her bad, injecting her with a morphine or some type of knockout stuff, and then administering chemo in her. That is as barbaric as you can get. I mean, the next thing is put her on a rack and stretch her out. I mean, it's just that sort of thing. And when you force men, and I was talking to her attorney.
Plus threatening her to do it over and over and over again until she capitulated.
Exactly.
A fellow student that I go to school with shared this, and when I come across this, and especially the pictures are bad enough, but the video, when you listen to the video at the bottom of this, I literally watched this at 1:30 in the morning and couldn't sleep the rest of the night.
I believe
That's
that.
why I wanted you to see it.
I believe that. It's ominous. And what they don't see is the amount of clients we have from vaccinations. Yes. And I was telling about the 26-year-old that she's had seizures since she was 4 months old. Imagine being the mother and the father of your baby that has seizures all the time, and you have to live with that day in and day out for 26 years, not knowing whether it'll kill her one time or not, or whether you wake up with lost functions all over the place, all for a vaccine. And yet the people that administer it, they're living their lives not even thinking a thing. And this all has to change. Has to change. Can't do that. So let's just take a look at a few of these pictures.
These are graphic, so
hang on to you.
Yeah.
These are graphic, and I've got other ones in our little portfolio over here. That's probably the least graphic. I've got another baby like this, but she's about 12 years old, swollen, burnt bad by radiation and chemo with leukemia, and of course she's dead. This one's real bad. Makes you sick to your friggin' stomach.
The worst part is how they are trying to cover this up.
Exactly.
So that you don't know about it.
And yet, they want you to march your babies and get them full of goop-up chemistry, and maybe you're lucky. Yours won't turn out like this. Maybe. Maybe you'll be the lucky one.
In the United States, by the time a child is 5 years old, they have received between 40 and 46 vaccinations.
Yeah, they want to load. I was reading this. They want to give a baby right at birth a loaded vac with so much in it. I find these people have gone over to the dark side and are totally unaware of it, and they proudly walk around the halls. And that's nurses who are mothers themselves who have bought into this, who believe this. I've seen RNs just argue and fight over things. These are 2-year nurses. There's another one. This is what she looked like before the vaccine, and that's what she is now. Neural and excitotoxicity, and it's just, it's nasty, and for the sake of what? There's no for the sake of nothing. When you're talking about catching anything, I want you all to think about you're creating the terrain for that. So we're about cleaning the terrain up, because where are you going to live in a bubble? There's virals everywhere, and man, in his need to kill each other, I'm sure we're still steeped in heavy chemical warfare. And as you've learned, Ebola and the HIV viruses are germ warfare virals initially. And of course, I guess we have a paper trail of when the HIV was used, and what vaccinations, what cities, what years. I mean, that's pretty bad when you realize that all your friends that died of HIV, all of these people, this was government created. And it was planned. It was planned in what cities that they were going to use the HIV virus in. The Hep B was the medium. And look at this. Just look at what our friendly governments and the people we put in power who have no awareness. Look at what they're doing.
You've got a government that is pretending to be your friends, but they have no longer have our best interest at heart. They no longer have our health. I mean, if you just want to talk one area, if you don't even want to get into politics and talk about this, that, or the other thing, let's just look at health. They no longer have your best interest at heart. They no longer have mine at heart.
Sad stuff. And you got to protect your babies and things like this, because what they don't get, and it's in our face, so I don't understand why they don't get. But again, when you get too educated, your mind's so conditioned, you're not free to understand things. Your mind has been set up with millions of little rooms that you can't get out of anymore, because you're chasing your thoughts. You're lost in your mind, so you can't see what we pull back and see the whole of life, and then use the mind to what we need. We don't live in the mind only, because then you're real restricted to what you see and know, and that restriction comes to what you've been educated.
You know, I'm sorry, I'm just a little upset about this, but these pictures, what drug tested would someone be okay with even a couple of these occurrences happening? And yet, this is only reported, these types of instances are only reported 6% of the time. Wow. 6%. What about all the hundreds and thousands of cases that aren't even reported? What we are doing to our babies and our children?
Yeah. Oh, it makes you sick to your stomach. It makes you super sick. And it's for what reason? Because everything is curable when you understand what causes everything. And we control what we've created all this. You created all the problems in your life. Unconsciously, there's no question. We're all unconscious at any given moment. So we create these things, but it comes from a conditioned mind. Our mind was conditioned to think, oh, Mama cooks good old grits and meatloaf. That sort of conditioning. Then your emotions are wrapped into that, and then you'll fight over, you got to have meat. All this stuff is stuff that are conditioned thinking that doesn't have any facts based upon it. And so we have allowed this conditioned mind, we live on that, and so we're ruining ourselves. We just don't realize. We don't have this spirituality, which is awareness. The mind has got us trapped into conditioned thoughts. We don't have the awareness to pull back and go, oh, vaccines must be toxic. Look at all the people. No, we don't have that. Oh, it's needed. So it's just the lies and how they capture your attention and your emotional components. They know how to use your emotions. Well, we know how to use the emotions too. Take a look at the reality of it. Take a look at the truth of vaccinations. And it's sad. These people buy into this sort of thing, into a state to pass mandatory vaccines when this is, I don't know what percentage that kids are getting out of there, but it's got to be pretty high, because we just hear this all the time in this clinic of ADD, ADHD, seizures. I can't even tell you.
I wasn't even aware of the damage that vaccines could do. And I wasn't even fully brought into natural and health and healing and all of this. And yet, as a mother I instinctively pulled back from the vaccines, and probably by the time my kids were 3 and 4, I stopped. I just stopped.
Smart woman.
And I'm very, very thankful.
Oh
my
God.
kids, I'll tell you what, healthy kids. They're strong. The one test that they did, the outbreak of measles, I think there was like 70 some outbreak. The percentage, it was very high, 80s, 90s, of those who got those measles were all vaccinated for them in the first place. So how is this helping? How is it stopping and preventing?
See, and these facts need to be shoved down the throat of medical doctors, or medical doctors need to wake up, quit the pompous, arrogant bullshit, and start realizing we're all human together, and we quit hurting people with toxic chemicals. Go to your herbs, understand detoxification, understand the lymph system, understand acidosis, really simple stuff, easy to prove, and get off your high horses and start realizing you're part of the problem, not part of and become part of the solution. Mm-hmm. We have to all become part of this solution, because it's pretty bad. These children are being literally destroyed, and it's like, oh my God, for no reason. And then to have a state make it mandatory, California.
If you don't go out and change it and how you vote in who you're going to vote in, California is only the beginning.
It is.
And it's not just the beginning of the vaccine. It is the beginning of even more and more things being shoved on you and forced upon you.
Oh, yeah. Imagine changing the maturity date to 21. So you take a 20-year-old, strap her down or him down, and give them a knockout drug, and then put a port in, and then go ahead and juice them up. That's real cool. Mm-hmm. I mean, I just, all these futuristic movies you saw years ago, and you're looking at them cringing that we could even come up. We are turning into that.
I don't think we're turning into it, Robert. I think we're already there.
It's probably true.
Yeah.
There's just, I know this got to you, and it gets to me too. I didn't realize it was this bad either, because I don't deal with babies that are getting so bad from them. The seizures was probably the most difficult. I had one. This was a 18-month-old baby. At 4 months, again, about the same as this other girl, at 4 months, this little baby went into a Hep B, a loaded back. She went into liver failure. Her left eye wiggled and took a turn east. She went into seizures and convulsions. And I forget, there's a host of things this little girl went into. It took me a month to get her out of seizing. And I got her at 18 months. So she'd been having seizures and all this stuff since 4 months. I had her at 18. We got her cleaned up. But I'm telling you, I remember that was a lot of years ago, and I was just sick about that case, and that was too bad. I think it was in Texas or something, but mother finally pulled her out of it, but it was like, holy shit. If the mother had not done our way, that little baby, her eyes would have been turned and all kinds of, because there's neurotoxicity.
That's right.
Horrible.